just rolled in for us. Where'd Tina go?
She's way up there. They're wearing green stuff on their face and gonna have to walk everybody up the
Please take your seats. Thank you for your support while we were gone, and thank you for joining us today for this historic occasion. But most of all, we thank you for what you are to us. 24 days ago, we left here on a very difficult and demanding mission. This mission required that we take down an oppressive government and its armed forces, and then that we raise back a newly established government and its people as a friendly and grateful nation. We were literally to decapitate a government and all of its institutions, and afterwards we were to shake hands with those whom we had fought the night of.
Hi, Holly. Daddy coming? Daddy coming?
Heather, stay right here.
She looks at me and she goes,
I know.
I would die if I told you.
Is that them right there?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the ceremony. After the unit commander... After the unit commanders release their units, you will have 30 minutes to greet your loved ones behind the bleachers in the designated unit area. Units will then return roll on the 80 packs and room for your unit area.
There he is. Look, Holly. Where were you?
As paratroopers spew from the rear of 20 massive cargo planes and float to American soil. Much like their mission 3 weeks ago, only this time they will not fight for freedom and democracy, but live it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Monica Schumann, sitting in for Miriam Thomas. A spectacular aerial homecoming over the heart of Carolina that almost wasn't. Some blustery winds this morning raised a lot of doubts about a parachute entrance from the 82nd Airborne. But in the end, Mother Nature cooperated with this finale to Operation Just Cause. And what we saw in the sky this morning, many will agree, put a lump in your throat and made one very proud to be an American. WTVD's Larry Stogner joins us now from Fort Bragg. And Larry, many of us were only lucky to see it on TV, but it must have been a thrill to see that from the ground in person.
It was unbelievable, and you know, you mentioned the wind. If it had been as windy as it is now, this would never have come up. The wind has really taken over. A lot of dust is blowing here at Sicily Drop Zone. I hope I'm not overselling this, but in the 17 years of being a news reporter, I have never seen anything that impressed me quite this way. Sicily Drop Zone is, well, it's all but deserted now, but a couple of hours ago, there were thousands of folks here. Sons, husbands, and daddies were coming out of the planes, and the folks here were just waiting for them to touch down. They came into Sicily Drop Zone the same way they went into Panama, by parachute, 2,000 of them. And after a job well done from the top brass, the soldiers finally got to see their loved ones. The story now from WTVD's Dave Bowling.
They were up and awake at 4 o'clock this morning, if they'd slept at all, sitting in the cold, waiting on Pookie, Carl, Tom, and others. Derek Johnson was supposed to be in school.
I'm waiting for my dad to come home from Panama.
You are?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him jump in before?
Yeah, I've seen him jump before.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
It was a doubly special day that Cynthia Rivera's husband was coming home.
I'm very excited. Today's my anniversary.
How many?
5 years.
Oh, that's
so this is the best anniversary present I can get.
Welcome to the return ceremony of the 1st Brigade.
Teresa Teasley was waiting for her boyfriend, and what was she going to say to him?
I don't want to talk about nothing. I just want to hug him and hold him.
They waited for hours for one of the most emotional 10 minutes they may ever celebrate. Those 10 minutes when 2,000 paratroopers jumped out of the jet cargo planes that flew over the Sicily Drop Zone at Fort Bragg. The first paratrooper who jumped out was obviously each family's paratrooper. It took an hour for the soldiers to put everything back together, and then they marched in formation to the point where the general spoke about the difficulty of their job.
We were literally to decapitate a government and all of its institutions, and afterwards we were to shake hands with those whom we had fought the night before and say, we're your friends, and we want to help you now.
But one of the highlights for General Steiner was welcoming Mac Sitnick, who was born to Major and Mrs. Steve Sitnick while Dad was away in Panama. And then, as the Army Public Affairs people put it, there was a collision between soldiers and their families.
Where's Joe? Oh.
The welcomes home were exactly what you'd expect for heroes coming home from war. We'll have more for you at 5:30 and 6. I'm Dave Bullock, WTVD 11 News, Fort Bragg.
Joining me now is Greg Barnes, who, of course, was in Panama for a week with the 82nd Airborne. Greg, you knew a lot of these guys who came out of the skies today. How does it make you feel to see them?
Well, it's sort of like a homecoming for me. I met some friends and made some good friends down in Panama, and I got to see them come out. I could feel the same excitement that the mothers and the girlfriends and even some of the friends felt when these soldiers jumped out of the airplane. One of the most spectacular missions I've ever seen. The 82nd has come full circle. They deserve all the credit they get for a job well done.
And we're glad to have you home. And I got to tell you, it put a lump in my throat seeing what I saw here today. We'll have a full recap of everything that happened here at Fort Bragg, Sicily's Drop Zone today at 5:30 and 6 on WTVD 11 News. Monica, I'm coming home.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Larry, and thank you, Greg. A job well done. Thank you very much. Well, for a young woman in Cary, the troops' arrival truly means a story that ends with, and they lived happily ever after. For Kelly Alvarez, the return of her fiancé means they can finally get married. They were supposed to become man and wife 2 weeks ago. Now that Private Andrew Simpson is home, the two can finally take their vows.
It's almost like I won't believe it till I see it, till they're actually in the air, jumping down in their parachutes, you know, and I won't believe they're actually going to be here.
Man, you gotta be excited.
I am, though. We set the date, and we're making all the plans. We've got everything set up, caterer, all the photographer, you know, everything. It's all set.
And Kelly can believe it now. The date now set for their wedding is January 21st in Cary. In other news this noon, a well-known broadcaster in North Carolina is the victim of a mysterious murder, and Sanford County authorities have little clues, although they have found a